Welcome back. Got a quick one today. It's growing season. The fruit trees are in bloom. Things are already starting to show fruit. Others are just waking up. But if you haven't done anything yet to take care of your fruit trees, I got a couple small, simple things that you can do to ensure a good start to the growing season. And hopefully your fruit trees will be looking real nice, like this white nectarine, the gold mine, which is got a pretty solid bloom going on here. It's gonna be delicious. So let's talk about some things that you can do right now for cheap, for almost nothing, that'll make your fruit tree season the best yet. Let's start with a little example from this Fantasia nectarine tree. And what do we have here at the very base? A bunch of down dirty, no good suckers. You gotta remove these. And the reason for that is that this is actually not your fruit tree. These growths are from the rootstock and can sap energy from the actual tree that you want to grow and produce fruit. So what we got to do is remove these, and you can do it by hand, by just pulling them off, or as I'm doing here, give them a little snip. Take the pruning shears, cut them up, get them out, say bye-bye. If you're unfamiliar and don't know how to tell which are suckers and which is the tree, you really want to look for the graft joint. And oftentimes it'll be a little offset from the actual trunk coming out of the ground and or might have a large bulb. So that's a good place to look, and I would remove anything underneath. Sometimes they do even have different leaf types, like on this mandarin orange tree. The mandarin orange has single leaves, and this rootstock has a 3-leaf pattern. Tip number 2 is fairly simple. Gotta review how you're watering your trees. People seem to really struggle with watering their trees. Am I doing too much? Am I doing too little? And sometimes it's just whether or not the water's actually getting down into the root zone. And one way to guarantee that your water is being used efficiently and soaking the root area is by using something like a drip line. Here I'm using a 6-inch spaced drip line where the emitters are half a gallon per hour every 6 inches along the line. And I'm doing a double ring setup here, so I'm getting closer to the actual trunk center root area and then further out where the roots can expand. The biggest problem with hand watering is consistency. How often are you going to get outside to water these plants, and how much are you putting on each time? How much is actually percolating down into the soil versus how much is running off? How much is evaporating? You really just don't know. So set it up on a drip, keep the water consistent, keep the root zone moist, and your trees will be much happier. Speaking of drip, when you actually get a good amount of water, it'll help with tip number 3, which is removing all the weeds and anything that's growing and competing for resources with your tree. The more water there is in the soil, the easier and looser those weeds will be to pull out. All these extra plants are competing for the same resources as your fruit tree, including the fertilizer, the water, minerals, etc. So get rid of them. Even if they're just these little tiny guys at this beauty plum tree, just give them a quick pull. And when you're done with that, tip number 4 is always be mulching. It's one of the simplest, best things that you can do to make sure that your tree is happy and healthy all summer long. It's going to protect the water that you're putting down into the soil. It's going to keep those roots quite a bit cooler and help the overall health of your tree. Now I went with a decorative bark mulch here. I've been working on the soil for years, but mulching with a natural mulch is a great way to build the soil and make your entire tree's life happier and healthier. Once your trees are happy and healthy and they put on that massive fruit set, the next step, tip number 5, is to go ahead and thin that fruit. If you have a prolific producer like these peach trees, this right here is a mid-pride peach tree, and it puts on hundreds of peaches. These peaches are really close together, and you got to imagine looking at those branches, if all of those turn into large-scale, full-size peaches, that is going to be a ton of weight on there. You can break the branches. Sometimes they actually won't develop large fruit, And you're also going to be using a lot of the tree's energy to create sugars for a boatload of fruit. And you may not be getting the best quality of fruit that you can, like if you end up thinning the fruit. And the thing is your tree is actually probably going to do some of this naturally for you later on if you don't go ahead and do it now. The problem is it's going to keep trying to grow those peaches, and it's going to use a lot of its energy to grow a bunch of peaches that you're not even going to end up with anyway. So be proactive, thin that fruit, and guarantee yourself a delicious crop of large fruit. And there you have it, folks. 5 key tips to help you get off to a good start in the growing season. Now, these are on top of some other pretty common things like fertilizing, but I do want to bring up something that a lot of people don't think about, and that is making sure that you plant a lot of pollinator-friendly plants around your fruit trees. Try to get plants that are blooming around the same time as your fruit trees, and this will ensure that you're attracting tons of pollinators, tons of those beautiful bees into your yard, and to help you get that prolific fruit set every single year. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, if you made it this far, maybe consider helping me out with a subscribe, especially if you want to see more incredible videos about fruit trees, just like this one. Maybe you learned something, maybe you get real angry and leave me a bad comment. It's all good. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.